think a proposition is doing?
I disagree with that proposition.
That's just not
Now,
a proposition. What do you think a
Are you going to
proposition
defend
is?
it? Are you going to defend it?
Defend what?
The statement that you made,
Which
retard.
statement?
The statement that fucking Lee performed worse against Gar than
Yo,
Sasuke.
you just stuttered. Yo, listen, I already have
I
defended
didn't
it.
stutter.
So my basis is anecdotal evidence. Are you aware of what anecdotal evidence is?
Yeah, what's the case that your anecdotal evidence is true?
So the case that my anecdotal evidence would be true is the scope of, Gar performing better against
What's the
Lee than
proof
he
of
did
that?
Sasuke.
What's the proof
My
of that?
anecdotal evidence.
That's begging the question.
Why is that begging the question? What's my
The reason
conclusion?
why it's begging the question is because it's circular. You said the proof of
wait. Do you think
Why
that
are you
every
talking
form of
when I'm talking? Why are you
circularity
talking
is
when I'm
begging the
talking?
question?
Why are you talking when I'm talking? So talk.
Just because I'm curious. Because I feel that not every form of circularity is begging the
Are you
question.
gonna mute him?
It only
Are you
have
gonna
to
mute him?
be.
Okay,
I didn't
yo,
agree to
We're not gonna
moderation.
debate. Are you gonna mute him?
Relax.
I was talking.
Relax.
Hold on.
I was gonna say,
Times, guys.
yeah, relax. You're good.
Mute him.
I was gonna say,
Mute
not
him.
every
Mute him.
instance.
Mute him is my go.
Are you
I'm
okay?
gonna leave the fucking stage.
Relax. You can leave. I don't mind. We can just get someone else. But I was gonna say, if you let me speak for a second,
Bye.
begging the question means that I'm presupposing and I'm using my conclusion.
This nigga was, bro.
Okay, both of you got muted. We're gonna let D1 finish his thing, then Archie's gonna have full time to finish his thing, because these are two fucking children. Okay, go ahead, D1, and then Archie, you'll have your chance straight away.
You're saying it's two children, but I'm the one here actually trying to debate. He's doing everything in his fucking mind to fucking stall the fucking debate. So like I was saying, retard, the reason why it's begging the question, because you literally said the proof of fucking Lee performing worse against Gar than Sasuke did is your anecdotal evidence. And I said, what is the case that your anecdotal evidence is true? And then you said the scope of that fucking Lee performed fucking worse than Gar than he did against Sasuke. And I said that would be begging the question, because the proof of that you claimed again was your anecdotal evidence. You don't have any proof that your anecdotal evidence is true. Okay, it's circular. Okay,
let's let him respond to that. Go ahead, Archie.
Yeah, I'm fine with talking sticks actually, but I noticed what you just did. Like, so I'm just gonna fully respond, but I want my full time to respond some shit. So don't interject midway. But basically, right, we have to even understand what even is begging the question. I'm not really sure you know this, so I'm just gonna put this in chat for a little reference in case you try to say I'm wrong. So obviously, what we understand begging the question is, in its most basic form, is just where your proposition is assumed. Your conclusion is directly entailed. You're using your conclusion to justify that your conclusion is correct, which essentially just means that you're presupposing your conclusion. My conclusion right here that we're facing is that Gar performed better against Lee than Sasuke. So if I were to say he performed better because he performed better, that would be an instance of begging the question. You said that the reason why I begged the question initially was because it was circular. Even if we were to accept this, circular reasoning inherently is not just begging the question. So even if I were being circular, this wouldn't be a unique factor to justify that in begging the question. But the fact that it's not circular is because I have a unique parameter that is actually justifying this that has not been used already, which is my anecdotal evidence. So if you're saying that my anecdotal evidence needs proof, what you initially asked of my anecdotal evidence was exactly what scope or what's the case. To which in this case, I'm assuming you're saying the condition to which such can be fulfilled, to which I gave you the condition, and I gave you the case, and I gave you the instance to which this was performed. To which if you want evidence that this was performed in such a case, that's completely fine, and that's a different question. But I've answered all of your questions, and I've actually properly responded to this. So I'd like you to give a proper argument instead of butchering that terribly. Thank you.
So you just said a bunch of pseudo shit because you're a fucking retard and you're a fucking idiot and you don't actually know what begging the question is. So what I asked you, what was the proof of your anecdotal evidence being the case? You gave no justification. All you said was the scope of fucking Lee performing worse than Gara. That's the thing. That's what's in question, dumb bitch. That's the reason why it's begging the question, right? Because what's in question is if fucking Sasuke performed better against Gara than Lee did. And all you did was reassert the claim that your anecdotal evidence proves that. But I asked you, what is the case that your anecdotal evidence is true? And you just repeat the initial fucking thing that's in question. That's the reason why it's begging the question. You have no reason, no justification for why Lee actually did better. Sasuke actually did better in the fight in Gar than what Lee did. You send no pieces of evidence. You just claim that your anecdotal evidence is the case. That's the thing that you're presupposing to be the case, and that's the thing that we need proof of, retard. That's why it's circular. So stop trying to do this pseudo shit where you just say dumb ass shit and you make yourself look like a fucking retard.
Okay, let's
thank you. So I'm gonna explain this to you. So clearly, if you're gonna say I'm being circular, you're gonna have to demonstrate in which instance I'm being circular. So if you're saying that I'm being circular because I'm using anecdotal evidence as a justification for my conclusion, I could just uniquely explain why each of those, are unique from each other, and they don't necessarily like wrap itself into each other, meaning it can't necessarily be circular, right? So if what I'm trying to fulfill, if what I initially stated was, obviously Gar performed better against Lee compared to against Sasuke, those set of claims and commitments, that's going to be completely unique from if I were to say the proposition, this is justified because of my anecdotal evidence. Me saying that it's justified, that's a completely unique commitment from me saying that these events happened. Okay? Those are completely different. If you're going to ask for justification behind my justification, which would be my anecdotal evidence, that'd be different, right? In that instance, you can just say, okay, what's your evidence for that? To which I'll explain why it's not only a dumb question, but why I actually have already fulfilled that and I've actually already answered that. But you stating that doesn't really make sense. I've defined begging the question for you properly, and you're a bit confused, so I'm going to educate you on it because clearly you weren't really taught this. You know what I mean? So you have to understand begging the question. Did you just try to interrupt me?
You're dumb.
Moderation. Monla, mute him. Mute him.
He's
mute him.
muted.
Mute him.
Finish up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much,
bro.
So basically, right, we have to understand this. Obviously, begging the question, right, it states it's where a proposition is assumed as a premise which itself needs proof and directly entails the conclusion. Okay? So me stating that this is justified because of my anecdote, evidence, this is something that's not directly entailing the conclusion because my anecdotal evidence isn't only something unique of the conclusion. I can give empirical evidence if you want by sending the scan. I can give many different forms of evidence that are unique from an anecdote. So this of it in itself isn't uniquely identical or directly already presupposing the conclusion because it has its own set of events and conditions that have to be fulfilled in order for that of it in itself to be true. So if you're asking me to justify my anecdote, D1, that's what you're supposed to ask. You're not supposed to ask me to give a different form. I'm not just done yet. Thank you. Now we have to understand, begging the question of it in itself. Okay. This is going to be assuming the conclusion. My conclusion, okay, is completely separate from the, antecedent. So you'd have to, give premises and you have to give P1 exactly for why I'm wrong. Because if you don't give P1 and if you don't formally syllogize it, I'm just going to take it that you don't actually have a formal syllogism. To which you'd have to give an informal one. And if you don't actually have an informal one, then I'm going to assume that you actually don't have an argument. To which if you don't actually have a counter argument, then I would just take your concession on a specific point. Thank you. I'll go mute.
Okay.
You enjoy.
It's D1's turn. That's just for your information. That's the longest point I've ever heard. But yeah, well done.
You listen. We know.
Yeah, the longest point of him. Why is he muted? Why is he not muted when he's interrupted?
Okay,
I spoke before you.
Yo, are you gonna mute him? Thank you. All right, thanks. So that was the longest point of him just repeating himself. He didn't say shit. He said things that are already fucking answered, you fucking idiot. So once again, yes, I already did ask for justification, dumbass. That's why I said that's what's in question. I asked you, what was the proof of this? Why is this the case? Why is it true? And all you did was just reassert the claim, right? Which was via my anecdote. That's the thing that's in question. I already asked justification of your anecdotal evidence, right? Hitchens razor is an argument, right? Or a claim without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Right now, you have no evidence for why fucking Lee performed better than Sasuke. If you're going to say it's off of your anecdotal evidence, I already called that into question, right? Why is it the case that it is true? Okay, so you would need to send some type of empirical evidence, some observation, something in order for you to prove that he actually performed better in the fight with Guard than he did against fucking Sasuke, than Sasuke did against Guard. Because if you don't send any evidence of that, guess what? We just wouldn't fucking know. And if we're going based off your anecdote, obviously anecdote is based off observation, what you view. How do we know that your observations of viewing the fight is correct? That's why I claim that is begging the question, but you didn't quite understand it because you're a fucking retard. You said a bunch of shit like, oh, you're going to need to send a syllogism and premises in order to prove why it's not the case. Like, no, I don't, dumbass nigga. All I need to do is question whether it is the case that your anecdotal evidence is correct. And you haven't even given a justification for why it's correct. So this is how the debate started, Archie, because I need to rewind your fucking memory because your mother is too busy at Dunkin' Donuts clapping her fucking ass cheeks for a fucking double chocolate chip fucking donut, you stupid bitch. So back to what I was saying, retard, is that it started off like this. Do you are you aware that fucking Sasuke performed better in the fight with Guard than Lee did? And I said, nah, I'm not aware. You said, you're not aware? Oh, so you didn't read Naruto? You didn't read Naruto? Like asking me dumbass questions. And then I say, I just disagree with that statement. You talking about, what's the proposition? What's the proposition? I said, I disagree with that statement, retard. And then you go on and say, well, yeah, it's the case via my anecdotal evidence. And I said, why is your anecdotal evidence the case? Why is it true? And then you go on to say, via the scope of Sasuke performing better than Guard in the fight than Lee did. I said, that's begging the question because that's the thing in question. Okay, you didn't actually give any justification. Now, Haram SpongeBob may get hit with this because he's an actual idiot, and you may be able to fool him because he doesn't actually track the argument, retard. So that's the reason why it's circular, and that's the reason why it's begging the question. Because Haram SpongeBob, I see your comments in chat, and if you were actually tracking the debate, there would be no reason for you to be saying this in chat. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. Go ahead and fucking give your fucking response.
D1, stop calling him a retard and debating like a normal person.
Yeah, I was gonna say. No, it's okay. He doesn't fully know how to give one. Yo, stop mute him.
Okay,
Thank you so much. By the way, even though I know you don't even fully understand the argument, Mano, he continued more than me. But anyways, so it's important to understand. I clearly understand after the years of being in what was known and actually pronounced as the top 5 worst neighborhoods in Washington. You know what I mean? Failing your school, failing everything, even to the point where you had to beat your own mother. I completely understand why you didn't have the time to properly educate yourself on what a premise is. I get it. I wouldn't either. If you're a busy man, you know what I'm saying, working at a basic 9 to 5 with no plans going on, debating Discord all day, sitting in VC, still trying to make servers at the age of 25, I would be completely upset as well. So I'm going to take my time and I'm going to be completely slow, completely understanding what your learning disability that was also recorded on your record. You know what I mean? So listen, let's take our time with this. First, we have to understand something. When you ask me for justification of my anecdote, that is separate from saying that I am begging the question. In order for me to beg the question, that means one of my conclusions are already assumed. I'm not making the assumption that my conclusion is true based off of the fact that I just believe it's true. I'm making this off of a completely separate parameter. That's all I'm going to say to that. Now, I'm going to justify my anecdote. So first, we have to understand that I'm actually a foundationalist. I'm a foundationalist, which just means that, you know, clearly all knowledge and justified beliefs rest on a foundation of basic, self-evident, and infallible beliefs. Okay? So within my personal belief, I believe it's infallible that my perspective is completely true. Okay? And I think my perspective and my account and my anecdote of things fall under that infallible belief, meaning that all of my knowledge and justified beliefs are already justified via that fact because it's under an infallible and self-evident belief. And if you want justification for that, we can. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's the regress. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people argue that, you know, when we examine the justification of a belief, we have to ask, why do you believe that? And the claim, you know, it leads to a circle chain of reasoning. And this chain can only be resolved in a few ways. Obviously, it continues infinitely or loops back on, or it terminates in foundational belief that no longer require justification. And I don't believe in infinite regress because that's completely contradictory, which I can give an argument for. So therefore, obviously, foundationalism has to be the case, which clearly means that I'm correct in this instance, right? So if you want furthermore justification for that and why that's a justification for my anecdote, I can even give that, and I'll even label you with a whole set of you know, premises and a conclusion, an entire formal syllogism that you can debunk. That's completely fine. Good.
All right, go ahead, D1.
So he said a bunch of nothing there. All he did was say that he fucking that he's basically accustomed to this fucking belief of foundationalism where all his beliefs are true because they're self-evident truths, right? Who gives a fuck? Saying that's a self-evident beliefs, right? That's literally circular, right? The reason why a self-evident belief is circular, right? Because you're saying the justification for it being the case is that it defines itself. There's no justification for that belief at all. But anyway, that doesn't even derives under fiction because fiction is literally made up, right? It's not actually true. It doesn't actually purport to reality itself. It's something that's literally was made up by fucking humans, right? It's imaginary, right? So all those beliefs and those where you fucking accustomed to fucking foundationalism, where you say, well, um, you say that all beliefs are true because they're self-evident beliefs and they're fucking fall under the inviolable fucking beliefs. That shit is dumb, right? Who cares if you believe in that shit? It doesn't make it true at all, right? And you talking about I don't believe in infinite regressions. I don't believe in that. Who cares? None of that fucking applies to fucking Naruto at all, right? That has nothing to do with scaling at all. That doesn't actually prove that fucking Lee performed worse than Sasuke at all. What are we talking about here? You're not actually scaling your character. All you're doing is saying, well, I believe this is the case. Who gives a fuck? Right? Your beliefs could be wrong. Okay? You haven't actually provided any justification for why your anecdotal is the case other than your beliefs, right? You're using reasoning to fucking suffice that reasoning. That's also a form of circularity. So what is the evidence of this being the case? What is the evidence that these beliefs are actually true? What is the evidence that fucking Lee actually performed better than Sasuke in the fight with Gar? You would need to showcase some type of feats, okay? Because I believe that it's contradicted, that those beliefs are contradicted via what's happening on the panel, via the things that we literally see, via the various statements that literally portrayed in the fucking narrative. To say that Lee is literally one of the fastest fucking Guinea, right? Literally said that Lee, in terms of speed, cannot be surpassed, right? And we literally see that Lee literally had speed feats greater than fucking Sasuke. So all the things that we literally see within the verse leads credence to the idea that fucking Lee is obviously the fucking better character, the better fighter, the better ninja, the better Guinea, in the fucking Trinity exam than Sasuke did. Okay? And there was obviously various reasons why you believe that Sasuke tried to perform better than Sasuke. He also fought against a fucking weaker version of fucking Gar. A nigga that Gar that was going through trauma in the beginning of the fucking fight, where Shikaku was literally causing him pain and making him cough up blood and shit. Right. So those other reasons, there's various reasons that we could go on and on about that proves why fucking Lee is obviously a better combatant than Sasuke in the Trinity exam. And then you're trying to pull out this foundationalism shit where that means fucking nothing. I can say, oh well, I fall under the view that I'm a theist, okay, and I believe that God exists. So everything other than that, is not true to me. Who gives a fuck? We just don't care.
Okay.
Please scale Naruto, you fat, ugly ass musketeer looking bitch. And your mother smell like fucking booty juice, you stupid bitch. I'll slap the shit out your bitch ass with a Slim Jim, you ugly ass nigga. And your little ass look like the fucking Grim Reaper doing the renegade, you
Oh, so
bitch
you
ass
a
nigga.
cat?
You
I
TikTok
got you.
bitch.
Shut your bitch ass the fuck up, demon, before I beat the fuck out of you, you stupid monkey. Shut the fuck up, nigga. I can fit a pencil tooth in between your gap. Bitch ass nigga, stop talking like that, you bald-headed monkey. I don't know why you talking like that, you African tap dancing bugger bug. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why you talking like that as if your mother doesn't look like an Albanian bullfrog with a bunch of herpes on her legs. Stop talking like that before I slap the fuck out of you, you stupid monkey. This nigga Snip Smirnoff up.
Okay. Bro, Archie, you're drowning, bro. Alright, Archie, it was Archie's turn, so go ahead, Archie, bro.
My apologies. My apologies,
it's your
kind
turn.
sir. I'm so sorry for that. I didn't mean that at all. That was actually my little cousin David that hopped on the mic. That was not me at all, okay? So I'm gonna give a proper argument.
Next time, wait,
I'm
Archie,
gonna do
next
this
time.
because I'm very respectful. Yeah,
You got it, but just try and keep the mic down. And you got it.
No, thank you. Anyways, but basically what I was saying, right?
Bro.
Premise one, at least if you want an argument for foundationalism and why it's true, because you said I gave no actual thing.
Wait, is he done? Is it D1's turn?
No. So back to what I was saying previously. A premise one, the initial premise would be that every, justified belief must either be A, self-justified, B, derived, it must derive its justification from another belief, or C, lack justification altogether. Premise two, if every belief derives its justification from another belief, this leads to an infinite regress of justification. Premise three, an infinite regress of justification is impossible because it would make the justification unobtainable because we can never fully justify any belief. Premise four, circular reasoning, where a belief just derives justification from itself directly or indirectly, cannot provide legitimate justification, meaning foundationalism is unique from circularity. If justification cannot involve an infinite regress or circular reasoning, it must terminate in a belief or a set of beliefs that are justified or self-justified, or non-derived. Conclusion, therefore, foundational beliefs, self-justified, and basic beliefs such as my own, which is infallible, must exist. All justified beliefs ultimately derive their justification from these foundational beliefs. Thank you. So that's my argument for that. Now, to respond to the rest of your points, though, I need justification that Lee is actually qualified of any of these factors. and I'm gonna need the truth condition to such a truth bearer, and for you to fulfill such a truth condition. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
All right, go ahead.
Is he done? All right, Dave. Thank you. God, Lee. His breasts were like a. I thought it was. But anyways, bro. All you did was read out a syllogism. Reading out a syllogism doesn't provide any type of justification at all, because that syllogism and what we were talking about prior to this, where you're saying claiming that foundationalism is true. So once again, I'm going to need you to prove every justification. I'm going to need the argument for P1, P2, P3, however many premises that the syllogism literally have. I'm going to need our argument for each one, right? Because you're just reading it out, and the conclusion doesn't mean that it's just the case, right? But I already told you how that doesn't prove anything towards Naruto, right? Because all the belief is something that you believe in, right? And how debates work, retard. Well, fictional debates as well. We prove our beliefs with evidence from the series. We show scans of feats that are performed. We show statements to lead to the conclusion of what we are trying to portray within the debate, right? And you haven't done that at all. All you have to do is go into this little fucking tangent where you're talking about something that's other than fucking Naruto. This has nothing to do with fucking Naruto scaling at all. So once again, I'm gonna need you to type out the syllogism in scans chats so I can take a look at it, and you're gonna need to provide me justification for each fucking premises, right? Because all you did was read out the premises and the conclusion. Once again, I can send you the various fucking statements and evidence and shit that shows why Lee is a greater combatant. I'll send those right now. Don't unmute them because I'm not done. I can send you multiple statements. Terms of speed. This is what happens when you can't actually scale a Naruto and you try to be Apollo. You don't actually know what you're talking about. Let me send it. Okay, here it goes.
My mic was muted. But yeah, so
I wasn't done.
Justified
I
that.
wasn't done. I wasn't done. Why see? I wasn't. No, I didn't. I never said I was done. I said I'm about to send these. I'm not.
I thought
done.
you were fulfilling your. I thought you were just sending your scans.
I'm not done. I'm still have more. I'm sending these scans. You asked for various things. Okay.
No, I didn't. I only asked for.
You did. Yo, mom, are you gonna mute him, please? Like, what the fuck? This is retarded as fuck already.
Oh my goodness, his breath made my mic up. No, I said I asked for fulfillment of premises.
Oh wait.
So if that was a miscommunication,
what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Okay,
right now,
here goes the statement. Anyways, it's the statements.
Yeah. I'll just respond while you're not talking.
What? No,
I
was talking. Why?
You weren't talking.
Wait. Here you go. Here's the statement. Right here, turn the speed lead time should be surpassed. I'll send the scan where Gar literally has on trauma against Sasuke.
Bro, what the fuck is this retard talking about? Anyways,
he's retarded.
That's what I was saying. Essentially, my justification for the initial. Mom, can you mute this retard? I don't know why he's narrating what scans he's sending.
It's still my go. I don't know what he's doing. It's still my go. It's still my go.
Is he retarded? He's not giving an argument.
It's still my go.
He's grabbing evidence.
So he wants like a silence period, like a moment of silence for him grabbing his scans. What?
Yeah, how long when you get in the scan?
It doesn't even matter how long you take. You can send them. I wasn't going to respond to that. What I was responding to was the fact that he said I didn't actually give justification behind my premises.
Go ahead.
That's what I'm doing. This retard keeps trying to speak. But anyways, back to what I was saying though. Clearly, if I initially gave an instance for each premise, and I gave an analogy, an example that we can pull uniquely from the synthetic world that we reveal from, that in itself would be justification. So I already have given a form of justification for all of that. We have to even understand what even is justification, D1. This shouldn't be something I have to explain, but to be fair, I mean, what trench were you raised from in Washington again? I don't know, some nigga shit. So like clearly, I'll just break this down. Obviously, a justification is just going to be some form of like deductive
argument, or it doesn't even actually have to be deductive. It's just essentially some reason, some valid reason that supports and specifically proves a truth condition of a truth bearer, or why some belief should be just or should be true. Right? It's essentially just fulfilling that and providing supportive evidence for such. And evidence can differ in many ways, to which I can give anecdotal evidence, different forms of evidence. I mean, there's a lot of justification. Now, if you want a justification for specifically each premise, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, premise 1, every justified belief must either be self-justified, justified, or unjustified. Obviously, it's exhaustive because it accounts for all logical possibilities for belief justification. A belief is self-justified, justified in itself, requiring no external support. Derived, meaning that its justification just depends or is contingent upon some form of other belief that's already stated as true. Or, a belief is just unjustified, which is not at all. And these 3 categories cover all possible or potential cases for how justification can be formulated through beliefs. So since it accounts for that, that would be the justification for premise 1. For premise 2, obviously, if every belief which it states that if every belief derives its justification from another, this leads to infinite regress. Obviously, if justification is always dependent.
Wait, what the
My
fuck?
fault, my Wi-Fi. I said, obviously, obviously, if it's dependent upon this and the chain of justification never ends, this just results in an infinite regress. Such a regression would mean that we can never arrive at a final justification for any belief. And that of it in itself means that we're unable to make beliefs. But since the fact that we can make beliefs, that of itself is an exhaustive justification. So the fact that you're even responding proves my point in that instance. That's a bit retarded, right? Premise 3, obviously, an infinite regressive justification is impossible because it just makes justification unobtainable. Similar to the previous premise, if you're able to obtain a premise, we can't have an infinite regression of different justifications, right? Obviously, we have conceptual limitation. For justification to work, there must be some kind of foundation or endpoint. Otherwise, no belief could ever be considered justified, as justification would always remain incomplete. So the fact that you can even reach conclusions proves this, D1. And as far as my conclusion and my premises initially, or confirmingly and necessarily leading to my conclusion, obviously foundationalism would solve the regress problem by positing that there's a certain basic belief that are justified or non-derived, and essentially just acts as a bedrock for these justified beliefs. That's why I use the term infallible, D1. So it's not me saying that these justified beliefs have to be the case and that they just are because they are. No. There's a solid reason and basis for why they have to be the case. Because if not, obviously we wouldn't be able to have beliefs. That's a bit retarded, no? And yeah, that's as far as that goes. And as far as the scans you sent, so can you prove all of these actually are canon? Thank you.
Anyway, so I told him to send the syllogism, so I'm just going to dismiss everything that he said. So he still haven't sent evidence of the syllogism, and he just continues to keep reading it out. So once again, all you're just claiming is that you have a certain belief, and you're trying to prove that your certain belief is the case. That's not how fiction works. I already explained that to you. Fiction has nothing to do with reality, okay? Okay? So if you have a certain belief that a certain character is above another character, in a fictional setting, in a fictional debate, you use scaling and you use feats from the series in order to demonstrate why that is the case. You have yet to send evidence of fucking Sasuke performing any feat against Gaara. I gave you multiple counters to why Lee is the better combatant in the Chunin exam than Sasuke. You have yet to contest it. I sent the scans in chat. You have yet to send the evidence of the fucking syllogism, and you have yet to send evidence of why the syllogism is true. All you're doing is citing claims that need justification. Do you think that you just claim something to be true means that it's true? Or if you give reasons for why you believe said thing is true without sending any evidence? I can give reasons to why I believe that fucking Lee is stronger and faster than Sasuke without sending any evidence. How will we know that my reason is the case? So you're going to need to send evidence of these said claims that you just literally claim to be the case about off infinite regression, about how a fucking justification needs to be justified or non-justified. So you're going to need evidence of all those said premises that you literally spouted out to be the case. Once again, I'm going to ask you to send out the full syllogism in chat right now because I'm going to ask for an argument for each syllogism. I don't care what you believe to be the case, okay? I'm going to need evidence. Three, like I said before, the scans in there literally just demonstrates that Gaara was literally going through pain in the fight with Sasuke. The other scam is a statement from Guy just saying that in terms of speed, Lee can't be surpassed. And the other one is just saying that Lee has unrivaled speed during the fucking shooting exams. So those are just three things that are literally point towards the conclusion why Lee would be a better combatant, right? You're the one on affirmative here. So I don't know why you're asking me to try to like prove everything that I literally claim to be the case. Because all I'm doing is just demonstrating skepticism, even though that I went on to prove and send the fucking scans that I claim to be the case. So you can go ahead and try to attack those. And once again, send the syllogism in scans chat. I'm gonna need justification for all those fucking premises. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'll attempt to attack it. You know what I mean? So to set evidence for that, obviously I don't necessarily have to send evidence for such. And yeah, I'm about to conclude after this. He's a retard. Because sending evidence isn't the only form of evidence I need. In order for you to assert that I have to send my formulation of evidence, this is saying that evidence uniquely is fulfilling of such a condition. But obviously this isn't the case because I've given different formulations of evidence that can be used without even sending it. So clearly sending it isn't a unique parameter of justified evidence, meaning that you'd have to justify why it's uniquely the case within this this circumstance that I'd have to actually send it. So I hate to let you know, but that's not actually, an argument. The reason why I'm asking you to prove such things is because even though, yes, some points I am on the affirmative, and my initial point that I'm going is giving an affirmative and positive, proposition and assertion, there's still going to be levels that you have to prove because in your refutations you can make claims, right? Something the level of evidence and the burden of evidence isn't going to be uniquely onto someone alone based off of that factor alone, right? Obviously, for example, if you're saying, well, no, your assertion is wrong because of this, for you to say it's because of this, you're saying that there is some condition that is true that is fulfilling of the conclusion and the consequence, which means that you have to actually prove whatever you're saying leads to that consequence, to which in this instance, it'd have to be the scans that you're sending, to which you still haven't proven the canonicity of any of these particular scans. So this would still be something that would have to be fulfilled in a burden for you to fulfill in order for you to give that and say that he was the better, whatever you said, Genin or whatever they're called. Now, I've actually already given justifications for all of my premises. And in fact, I don't mind. There is actually justification I missed. So for premise 5, if justification cannot involve an infinite regress or circular reasoning, it must terminate in foundational beliefs. The premise follows because the rejection of two or of the other two possibilities. If justification cannot continue infinitely or loop back onto itself, it must stop at beliefs that are self-justified. And foundational beliefs clearly are basic beliefs that provide a starting point for justification without requiring the support from these other beliefs. So that of it in itself is now full justification for all of my premises. And the justification for all of those individual premises are going to be things that are exhaustively applied because I already stated that the fact of your behavior is one of the main points of reference that I'm going for to prove my point. Obviously, you mentioned previously that Hitchens' razor actually is just giving an argument or premise to which is dismissible via the lack of evidence. And obviously, this is something you gave. So if you're going to give evidence such as, the scans, but there's still something in question and a condition that's in question for you to necessarily lead to the consequence, which is that it's canon, you'd actually have to prove this, or else by Hitchens' razor, I can just dismiss it, unfortunately. But I actually don't think you're going to do that. And for a fact, I know you're going to call all of this nonsense and ramble because you don't know a lick of foundationalism, or really a lick of anything I'm saying. But you've made multiple points such as that fiction isn't linked to reality, which is retarded. You've made multiple points such as though we cannot apply our belief systems for some reasons to fiction, even though we have to use belief systems to understand what we're interpreting. So I'm just going to let you yap for a second. You know what I'm saying? You can have your temper tantrum, talk about moms, Coca-Cola, all has a grown 25-year-old man. But after this, we can go to conclusions though, type shit. Yeah.
So anyways, before the nigga was explaining to me in my VC the other day that he was a pansexual and he e-dated fucking 9/11, was fucking having e-sex with other fucking trannies in the service because he's a weirdo. And that's the reason why he takes debating so serious, guys. And that's the reason why he gets on here every fucking day, fighting out his fucking dirty ass fucking bacon cheeseburger ass breath out of everybody because he's ugly as shit and his mom got buck teeth with his ugly ass and his dad is a fucking farmer who fucking fresh fucking products fucking corn, you stupid bitch. Like shut the fuck up, nigga. You're fucking ugly as fuck, you dirty gay bitch. But anyways, back to what the fuck I was saying, retard. So if you look in chat, right?
It's okay, Dylan. We're here for you.
Continue.
This is your therapy session. We're here for you, man. It's okay.
Mute him.
Yeah, mute Archie.
I'll wait, Mom. and I'm not
Mute
debating
him.
here ever again.
Mute
So don't
Archie,
ask
or
me.
else D1's not debating here now.
Finish up. Go ahead.
Thank you. Fuck. Anyways, I'm gonna send the scans in chat right now. A foundationalist is someone who believes that knowledge and justified beliefs are built on a foundation of self-evident truths or individual beliefs. Foundationalists believe that these foundational beliefs are the starting point for all other knowledge and beliefs. Foundationalism has nothing to do with your belief actually being true. I'm asking you to justify why your belief is obviously the case. And you haven't provided any evidence for why your said belief is the case. I'm going to ask you once again, are you going to send the syllogism in chat? Right? You said, well, you don't need to send evidence. That's the dumbest shit that I have ever heard. You said that I would need to prove that you need to send evidence in this certain situation in order for your argument to be the case. You sound dumb as fuck. You just asked me to prove that these scans are fucking canosity, right? And then you're saying, well, I will need to send evidence of that. If you're saying that we don't need to send evidence, I could just claim the same thing, but I'm not going to go that route because I'm actually a good debater. Someone like you who can't fucking scale fucking Naruto, and you're talking about Falcon foundationalisms in a fucking Naruto debate because you can't actually scale, right? But anyways, back to the point. Uh, it has nothing to do with why your belief is the case. You haven't actually provided any justification to prove that fucking Sasuke performed better in the fight with Lee, right? I'm gonna actually prove that this is canon. This is a dumbass thing, right? You were just citing Manga C earlier, and then you said, well, they moved to Weave Central. These same fucking scans are from Weave Central, which we literally use Manga C for to provide our scans, right? Because we literally know that fucking Manga C is literally canon. So just based off that notion, yes, these fucking scans will be fucking canon. So let me see that it's from Weed Central right now. But it's in the Skype because you're a fucking idiot. Weed Central, Naruto. Want to go to 110? And I'm just gonna backtrack that claim on you as well. So prove that the observation that you had of fucking Lee, I mean Sasuke performing better than Gaara in the fight than Lee did, is actually canon as well. So you're gonna prove that as well. Fucking idiot. Anyways, 110.
Okay, go ahead.
Bro, I'm not
You
done.
done?
No, I'm not. I don't understand how you keep letting this bitch ass nigga ramble for fucking hours, and then when I say one quick
Just
thing,
go.
you allow him to fucking go. Like, shut the fuck up.
Go ahead. And you're gonna watch your mouth when you're speaking to me.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, you need to watch that mouth.
This is from Weeb Central. This is the website that I got it from. That Manga C. It literally oversees Manga C now. Manga C is gone. They moved on to Weeb Central. Okay, I can literally send you the start of the fucking chapter as well, where it literally has Masashi Kishimoto at the fucking bottom of the fucking panel.
Are these big gaps you being done, or are they?
Yeah, there are big gaps, obviously. Fuck.
Yeah,
That is a site. So now back to what I was saying. So no, I'm not done. Retard. Be quiet. Anyway, so yes, this is canon, you fucking retard. And yes, you would need to send the syllogism because how would I know that what you're reading from is actually a real syllogism? Where are you getting this syllogism from? Where was this argument formed from? Right? How do I know what you're saying to be the case is just some made up fucking shit that you're just claiming to be the case? Right? Because what I read from foundationalism, it has nothing to do with why your beliefs are true. It's just something that people believe in, right? Like I stated before, if I'm a theist, I believe that God literally exists, okay? But you need to see evidence, justification, and reason for why God exists, okay, in order for it to be the case, or order for it to be probably the case, right? Because you didn't send any concrete evidence that actually provides the conclusion that fucking Sasuke performed better. And I gave you multiple reasons for why Lee performed better, and you told me to prove his canon. I already proved that. And you need to prove that what your abductive fucking reasoning. You need to prove that it is the case that the thing that is canon that you're viewing this thing from, because it could just be wrong, right? So once again, you have a lot of burdens that you need to provide. You need to send a syllogism because I believe that the whole syllogism is just invaluable. It's fucking made up. It's fucking wrong. I don't believe in none of that shit that you literally just said. You gave no justification. All you did was spite out fucking reasons for why you believe to be the case. Doesn't mean that it is actually the case, right? And I believe that everything that fucking Lee did in the fight with Gar literally outshined Sasuke. Also, the fight that Gar literally had. Because if you're going to claim that it is canon, and what I sent is not canon, then how do I know that Lee and fucking Sasuke actually fought? So what do you view as canon in the first place? Because what you're deriving this conclusion from cannot be canon as well. So you need to prove that as well. So we can start with there. Nigga's a fucking retard. I don't even know why I'm debating this retard ass, bitch ass, faggot ass nigga.
Okay, so let's let Archie finish up. Go ahead, Archie.
Thank you. So now that D1's done explaining how he doesn't know any philosophy and is bad at debating after 10 years for about 4 to 5 minutes, actually I've already justified all of this. Who's ever watched the rec, you can just go back. Oh, mute him! Moderation! Mute him, he's over talking me. Mute him. He's over talking me. Mute him. I'm not continuing if you don't mute him.
Wait,
I'm gonna leave.
I'm
gonna leave and I'm gonna jump around and I'm gonna cry if you don't mute. Oh, thank you.
Okay, he's muted. I think I just muted myself, though. I'm not done.
Thank you so much. But basically, right, we have to understand here clearly. Wait, hold on. I just want to, real quick, actually, give me a second because I'm finna leave. I just want to drop this in chat for a second. I hope everybody knows that Apollo is an extorter. He tried extorting a 16-year-old girl. There's gonna be a big trial on it, and there's gonna be clips of her in VC explaining it, clips of his actual username. Not only that, but he's a homosexual who e-sexes debaters and tries to pay them for e-sex. Quirk, one of being these beings. You can scroll up and chat if you need the screenshot. Whoever wants to screenshot, you can DM me, you can DM Jester about it, or you can DM Zizzo about it. But he's a weirdo. I wouldn't fuck with him if I were you. Whoever needs the screenshots, I can. If you want them to send them publicly in chat, I can. I'm just gonna put this real quick in chat for like a little Easter egg. For example, by the way, this is a 16-year-old girl. Just gonna let you know. But that's all I really have to say though. And now in regards to D1, I've actually already justified everything I needed to. Who's ever watching Rec, you can just look quickly back here if you want. And yeah, I think I won based off that. I think I